Coming to you live from the NBC Tower in downtown Chicago. This is your AEW Dynamite WWE NXT post show. It's another Wednesday night war zone. Sound off. What did you think of the big shows on two big channels going head to head? Week number 3. Share the link. Get your wrestling friends in here. Are they for NXT? Get them in here. Are they all elite? Get them in here with us live. If you're with us on the podcast side, you're already enjoying all of it. Subscribe to WrestleZone Radio. 4 WZ Daily episodes every week. Bonus interviews this week with all the big names in the world of wrestling. Danhausen, Stephan Bonner from UFC, a whole lot more. We got a lot to get into, fresh off a big night of action. I am not alone. The man who is covering it for us tonight, at DeFelice. How are you doing, Robert? This was something special, wasn't it? It was a big
what a night. What a night of wrestling. What a Wednesday, as they would say.
What another Wednesday, dude.
Just another manic Wednesday. You know what I'm saying?
So you covered NXT. You were on that first. That was what you were watching the whole night. Yep. Let's look at that. Another amazing night for them. I know everyone says, they're getting outclassed by AEW, but when I talk to them on Thursday and they watch AEW first, they always come back to me like, NXT was a good show. Like they always want to put the jury out before they actually see all the evidence. But I have to watch both at the same time. So I'm just kind of clicking back and forth. A lot of story development tonight on NXT overall. A lot of development, a lot of teasing to the next week, building, ramping things up. New matches have been made. They teased a lot, but tonight was all about the big men. Keith Lee, bask in his glory with Donovan Dijakovic. This was something else.
400-pound dudes. I don't know if he's 400 pounds. However big he is, he shouldn't be hitting Poison Ranas, but he did because NXT. That's exactly the way I wrote it in the coverage. Of course, he hit a Poison Rana because NXT. And I mean, what is wrestling? Wrestling is a new level of athleticism and craziness. And yeah, I mean, they also told a good story with Lee going after Dijakovic's arm, but ultimately, Roderick Strong was going to stop this match because we didn't get into that, but this became the number 1 contenders match because earlier in the night, they took out the Velveteen Dream, and he will no longer be competing for the North American Championship next week. Now it will be a triple threat between Keith Lee, Donovan Dijakovic, and Roderick Strong for that beautiful burgundy strap of excellence that is the NXT North American Championship. That's going to be a fun match. They teased the Demon for next week. That kind of went over everybody's head.
Yeah, they did. I had to kind of go back online and see the clip of it before we went. Today, I was like, "Oh, did they do that?" I was like, because they didn't do it completely, and so the fact we're gonna get that on TV for hardcore fans is good. But this match was incredible. This was absolutely incredible. I think anyone who's writing it off wanted to write it off. They didn't want to feel like they were going to see a great match. There's a lot of people in wrestling media, and I'm not saying names, who are showing their bias, who need to zip up their pants because their bias is showing.
Now, it's not me this time. I checked. My bias is not showing.
Also, for those of you who follow us on the WrestleZone Daily, you told me that this would be a buffer episode for NXT. That this would be a buffer episode, and faithful fans of the show are here with us live asking, Robert, was it a buffer episode?
I still think it was. I think next week will be the big one.
Robert, you're full of it.
I still think it was.
You're backpedaling. You're trying to worm your way out of it.
I still think it was. I mean, Lee and Dijak delivered. Dijakovic, sorry, that's going to be never get used to that. Mm-hmm. There was some interesting story being told, but ultimately I call it a buffer because it's just building to the bigger story payoffs.
What's a buffer about that? If you're building, that isn't filler. What you're talking about filler is just doing something and we're just holding until we get to something else.
Because let's talk about the show you watched.
Yeah, I watched both of them.
Well, lucky you.
I'll talk about AEW.
Let's talk about AEW.
Sure. AEW, another fun, exciting episode for them. Philly was lit. Philly's a great wrestling town.
Philly sounds like it was lit.
Oh, Philly is an incredible wrestling town. A lot of energy. Opened the show with a little Swerve-a-Rooney. We thought we were getting Christopher Daniels instead of Scorpio Sky in that 3-man tag team. In this AEW tag team tournament, they were told only 2 of you guys can compete in the tournament. So the Lucha Brothers come out, attack Christopher Daniels, lay him out, get him stretchered out of there. And then SCU has to go into the match without Christopher Daniels. He gets stretchered out, and Scorpio Sky kind of comes in even without his gear. I thought that was entertaining. I enjoyed that. Best Friends come out. This is their first time on AEW television, and they were kind of featured very, very well. Fun match, but I really think over on NXT, it was odd. They had this all throughout the night. I don't think this was planned. There was a tag team match on one channel and a tag team match on one channel. There was a women's match on one channel and a women's match on the other channel. And that actually made for very entertaining. Also, the commercial breaks were a little bit not like going to the break at the same time tonight. They just kind of broke at different times, which I think is clever. But I thought Best Friends and Chris and SCU had a really strong match. SCU came out with the win. They need the win to advance. I think there's a good storyline there with the dynamic of what happened to Christopher Daniels and how are they going to play with now. They have to go and work with a team in the tournament that they weren't that set they weren't ready to go with, of Scorpio Sky and Kazarian. Now that's what they're doing. I thought that was interesting there. I think there's some more meat on the bone with SCU against Lucha Brothers. Lucha Brothers later in the night took on Marco Stunt and the very small Jungle Boy. Man, Marco Stunt looks very small on television. He looks small. He had some very funny moments. I think they had the funniest moment of the night. The best comedy of the night was him trying to pose and dance off with Pentagon Jr. to start the match. I thought that was entertaining. But Danny Burch and Imperium over on NXT, when you want to talk about putting these matches on at the same time and who had the better match tag team-wise, AEW is doing a tag team tournament. But I think match for match tag teams, I thought Danny Burch, Oni Lorcan against Imperium was just a banger. I mean, these Imperium dudes are really starting to develop themselves as like a monster squad. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that.
You know what? If it wasn't for that Dijak match, I would have went with the tag match. I love good tag team wrestling, and this one actually got me to stop working for a second and put everything down and just look at what they were doing because.
Someone's coming at me already. Someone's coming at me already in the comments, buddy.
I love good tag team wrestling. Who the hell's coming at you in the comments? Why are you doing this?
James Ross saying, Big Kev. Talking about AEW is great. We all know he loves WWE.
Well, listen.
Defend me, Robert. Defend me.
Yes, Kevin loves WWE. He comes on here every single day of the week and tells us to enjoy wrestling. And you know what? That is okay. Kevin, with his great, powerful ADD, was able to focus on these 2 high-paced shows. High-paced. Because I couldn't even give up with NXT. And I can't imagine watching the Lucha Brothers flip at the same time as watching Oni Lorcan flip. But don't come at Kevin, okay? Don't come at Kevin.
I'm living that 2-screen dream, baby. All right? I'm living the 2-screen dream.
The 2-screen dream. Oh. Well,
all right? Running the Twitter. All right? Running the Twitter. Running the Facebook. You want to go back to MySpace? I'll go there too. I'm holding it down. Holding it down. That's the idea. Here's the thing. The war zone is between them. The war zone is not between us. Don't take the bait. You know what I mean? Don't take the bait that you have to choose one or the other. Come on, man. Come on here. Michael Ballinger saying the lack of selling on both shows is brutal. That's
Hell yeah. I'll agree with that. The new age, man, remember when people used to just lay down for a DDT? Nobody is selling shiz, Kevin. Wow. Wow. I mean, there
was a lot of violence in this. There was a lot of violence.
Nobody's selling a damn thing. Whatever happened to selling, Kevin?
If you're with us live, sound off. What did you guys enjoy tonight? You're saying on NXT was really the must-see thing if fans watched AEW live. Do they have to seek? They have to seek out this match with Keith Lee.
I would suggest that you have to. I've also been informed that I was misinformed and that this is actually their 4th matchup.
Okay.
So, I don't know, because honestly, this is the first one I've been able to see full through. I don't know if this measures up to the other ones. This is the first time I got to see it, and I thought it was great. But maybe those that have seen it before won't feel that way.
Timothy Tim in here. I have to say, NXT was better tonight. Everything matters. People have purpose. Feuds and matches are being built up. It just flowed great. That's another thing. We didn't mention a handful of other things they developed tonight. Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley are going to have a match next week. I'm loving that. I think that's a great pairing. I think that's a great setup. Io Shirai going through Caden to build up to her match. I think Io is a solid hand that they've turning her heel was one of the better character moves they've made on NXT recently. Rhea Ripley just looks like a complete giant wrecking machine and cut a promo. I enjoyed that. I like the development. I liked where Shayna Baszler inserted herself against Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox reminded me kind of like a female Johnny Gargano, where you really know that she can go. She can really be that baby face you want to get behind. I liked the feeling of her coming back and cutting that emotional approach. She just about to cut a promo, and Shayna comes out and says, "Doesn't matter. I'm Shayna Baszler. I'm gonna mess you up." I'm Shayna Baszler, and it was just good two tones, like a perfect baby face, perfect heel. I'm gonna say this again over on the AEW side, the women's action. I thought Britt Baker and Rio had a much better match than AEW Dynamite had in their first episode with Rio and Nyla Rose. I know a lot of people were loving that, and that's a match where Rio became the AEW Women's Champion. I just thought the pacing was slowed down. It was much, much better.
Oh, imagine that.
What?
Imagine that being a refreshing take. The pace slowing down.
Yeah. And I thought it helped. I thought it helped in general. Overall, though, I'm leaning towards NXT having the better women's match tonight overall. But I do have, people say I'm biased. I lean towards the NXT side. My final verdict tonight may surprise you. So I will say that as someone
again, I'm trying to both watch the action and write the action and do all that stuff, but I got the feeling that the Io match was a bit quick, like a showcase match for her. A lot of
short matches tonight.
Yeah, like there was a lot of showcase matches, except for Lee and Dijak, which just was balls to the wall. But I got the feeling that everything was more showcase, and that's why I'm surprised that you'd say that you preferred the NXT women over the AEW women.
I prefer the NXT women just because I think maybe because the way they paced it, I got to see more. I got to see more than just one women's match. I think was entertaining. I do think AEW is smart. We had this issue with Bea Priestley and Britt Baker, where Britt Baker and her have been attacking each other. And a lot of people were just assuming on the surface, Britt Baker's in a title match against Rio. Bea Priestley's going to come out and cost her the match, right? And that's simple logic, but they didn't go there. They just simply had a competitive match and Rio won. I think it's just building blocks. You know, they're not getting ahead of themselves. They know that this is a title they still need to continue to build up. Just because they put it on Rio doesn't mean they can just rush and do these kind of like dusty finishes all the time. Whereas over in NXT, them doing that with Donovan, Dijak and Big Keith Lee to do that match, to set up Roderick Strong, to have him interfere, it didn't take away from them going the distance with each other. You just kind of got cut off at the end. And everyone's like, "Oh, it's awful. That's a short-term payoff. If they just have a great match, that's a short-term payoff."
But I don't know why people were mad about that when you know right away, like, okay, dumbass, you're gonna go defend your title in a triple threat now. There was that logic hole for me being a wrestling fan of like, bro, you know what's about to happen to you. What do you think you're doing? You know they're gonna put you against both of them now.
Mm-hmm. Want to know what you guys are thinking? Sound off. Tell us what you think. If you just joined the show live for the first time, your comments get on screen. And if you're with us on the podcast side, hit us up on Twitter at WrestleZone.com, at WrestleZone.com, all one word. Matt Pestle, very good AEW show tonight. It's still early stages. It's been 3 weeks. AEW has a long time to catch up with WWE. Well, that's just overall. But right now, a lot of people feel that perception of NXT in a small studio space and AEW in arena. It's just that makes the difference. I felt that tonight too. I did feel like there was, reactions that Big Keith and Donovan were getting in their match. How much bigger would they have been if they were in an arena? You kind of think of that, but that's also, you can't change the circumstances. They are what they are. Speaking of big reactions, AEW got a lot of them tonight. Chris Jericho, Darby Allin, the main event.
How crazy was this match, considering I didn't get to see this? Was this as wild as I think it is? As I think it was?
It was insane. It was pretty crazy. I wouldn't say, for a Philadelphia street fight, it didn't beat the hardcore match that AEW put on television just yesterday with Kenny Omega and Joey Janela. That match was taped last week as part of AEW Dark, their new online exclusive web series.
Is that a mistake?
It is. It is a mistake because this match, I'm going to say it, paled when you compare it to that one. But in terms of TV matches, it was a really, really strong match. And it was head-to-head with the NXT main event of Pete Dunne versus the Archer of Infamy. And this guy is very tall, man.
Dude, Sean Ross Sapp was like gushing about this match. Now, granted, I am fully drained, but like I didn't feel it. Like for me, like the show peaked at Dijak and Lee, and I don't know.
You think they should have main evented Dijak?
100%.
I agree.
The story was there. Everything was there. The only other thing I would have headlined the show with was the Balor promo where literally they're like, demons coming, boys. I thought that was a hell of a tease. But as good as the match was, I didn't feel like it was Kushida Walter level where it was like, oh, wow, look at this shit. You know?
No, it wasn't better than Kushida Walter last week on NXT. I thought Archer and Pete Dunne had a good match, but it didn't feel like it was blowing the doors out. Also, right before they did it, they did another angle with Killian Dane and Pete Dunne. So my mind was just like running. Like they build up your anticipation for these certain things. Over on AEW, they were just letting Darby Allin do the craziest things he could think of. This guy's getting thrown through the ropes, his legs whacking off the post. He gets his arms tied behind his back. He's doing dives through the ropes with his arms tied behind his back.
They did that bit? Oh, man, that's awesome.
It was really cool. It's Darby Allin with his size and what he does is an impressive character. Jericho beats him down, and Jake Hager does the run-in and tosses Allin off the top rope. And Jericho forces them to submit. They celebrate with a little bit of the bubbly, the inner circle on top. I was surprised, though, they didn't have the Elite come out here. Also, AEW had a bit of an overrun. They went past 9 o'clock tonight, just by about a minute or two.
I like it. I know that they set up LAX versus the Young Bucks. They need to name them. They need to name something, but I know they set that up for Full Gear. I think that'll be good. I'm sure Hager's going to go up against Hangman, which should be good. I think they don't own War Games, but it's very clear to me that they're going to try to put something together because Faction Warfare needs a place for Faction Warfare to go.
Maybe they just call the match Faction Warfare.
I mean, you can get around that.
What's another name? Look up your thesaurus for games and then put war in front of it.
Joyful times of violence.
That just sounds like a great heavy metal album here.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
People chiming in. You want to see what the people are thinking here. Justin Root, Jericho can't go 20 years ago. Like, why have a street fight? Well,
what the? Hold on, no. What the fuck? Like, what's wrong with the way Jericho goes? Jericho is performing the best he's ever performed, and I will fight anybody on that. Jericho is as good as he's ever been. What the hell do you mean? What the hell do you mean? Oh, he can't go like he went 20 years ago. Why have a street fight? You ever watch TNA? You ever watch like Sting have a bunch of no DQ matches? Because hey, guess what? Maybe they can't go bell to bell, so let's disguise this by putting all these bells and whistles on the match. That's first of all. Second of all, that was clearly for Darby Allin to go throw himself around the arena, and I didn't even watch the damn match. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but shame on you for it.
Shame on you. Shame on you. If you're joining us, you have full results for AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT up now at WrestleZone.com. Obviously, maybe you can enjoy this on the podcast side of things as well. Check it out. We stream Monday through Thursday, right around 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Within that hour, I turn on your notifications. You can join us for those shows with all the big daily stories, but obviously a lot of people joining us for this post show. Another exciting thing over on AEW, the tag team match, Moxley and Pac versus Hangman Page and Kenny Omega. Strong tag team match, broke down into violence with plunder. They literally called it plunder. And Jon Moxley got a barbed wire baseball bat. Kenny Omega has his broom wrapped in barbed wire because he's the cleaner, right? Because he's the cleaner. You get it? He's the broom. He's the cleaner.
I got it. You
understand it? All right. Don't want it to go over your head. All right. So they're about to hit each other. And Bryce Benjamin is like, Bryce, the referee's like, you guys do this. I'm throwing this match out. You do this. I'm throwing this match out. And then Pac runs in and grabs the bat and throws it away and just starts doing that. You're a dummy. You're going to get us disqualified. Moxley flips him the bar, gives him the Death Rider DDT, walks out of the ring. His team loses in a minute after that. I'll say this. It looked cool in the moment. But if they did that over in WWE, people would be pissed.
A barbed wire broom?
If they did that same type of finish.
I don't want to dissect this too much. But if they did a barbed wire broom, you'd look at, oh, what is this shit? Oh, stupid Vince. Oh, my God. They got Moxley with a broom. That's what they'd be doing if it was done on WWE. But no, if it was done on AEW, I'm sure it went over with flying colors.
Johnny, you texting and said Hangman Omega versus Pac and Mox was sweet. I didn't know how it was going to end. Pac cut his finger. Yeah, there was some blood there.
Yeah. Well, guys, funny shit. You're playing with barbed wire here. What do you think is gonna happen?
What do you think is gonna happen, Goofy? Yeah, exactly. So for you didn't get to see AEW.
I didn't get to see AEW. I'm sure it was more exciting. Mm-hmm. But NXT, I'm sure, was the better story-built show because that's been the pattern of the last.
I feel like the story trajectory right now in NXT tonight was a lot better. I thought this was that built. We're building to something. I thought Tommaso Ciampa looked strong in his return. You got some fun vibes there. I like the vignette they did with Johnny Gargano and where the direction going to go with him. I'm looking forward to what War Games is going to be. What teams are they going to put together for War Games for NXT?
I think it's Undisputed Era versus Balor, Dream, and DIY.
That'd be cool. I would love that.
And I think they're all in pain, and I think it'll be great.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
That's where I think they're going with it. I'm excited for the future of NXT. I'm excited for Full Gear, even though I haven't watched an episode of Dynamite in its entirety in one shot. But I'm excited for it. But overall, NXT, I'm gonna give it a 6. It was a solid show.
Come on. Really? A 6?
It was a solid show, but I just think a lot of, character-driven matches, there wasn't anything. I'm sure AEW had longer matches, longer stories to be told. I liked Dijak and Lee. I think you should watch a 400-pound man do a reverse hurricanrana just because it's just like this big FU to what you think wrestling should be.
Exactly.
Here's a good one. Jon Moxley's trying to be Stone Cold. And I bet that bothers you, doesn't it, pal?
Tommy B texted and said, I enjoyed the night.
We're the winners of the night. Good night. Good night.
You give NXT a 6 out of 10. I think that's an underrating. I give, watching both at the same time,
They each get a 7?
This may surprise you. First time we've been doing the show 3 weeks. And I've picked what show every week?
You picked NXT every week.
Okay. Mind you, and both of them were neck and neck. None of them were a blowaway. Tonight I pick AEW. And here's why I picked AEW. NXT had the better matches, but there was a bit more wow factor.
Hell yeah, you need the wow.
And it's starting to settle in. The crowd reactions in AEW are starting to make it hard for me to click over to NXT. And it's not like I can't take it.
Why? Are you getting the smaller vibe now?
Yeah, and I didn't get that so much before. Maybe just because it was Philly and they were super chanty and they never really let up the whole time. And I didn't bring that up. I mentioned Philly was a great wrestling crowd, but throughout the whole night, I would click back and forth. And I have the 2 screens in another studio. I have one up in front of me and then I have one off to the side. And I kept going like this. The screen in front of me is the AEW one. So I kept going like this because I could hear it in one ear and out the other. It was really, really hard to perceive it, but I think it's starting to add up to him. I think Jericho is a great shiz-talking heel. Their characters are really, really popping. Though, I thought NXT was very, very close to them. I thought this was a lot closer than last week. I'm going to give AEW 7.3. And I'm going to give NXT
a 7.
Straight 7. All right. So I thought AEW got ahead of them just because Philly was a hot crowd. That's where I think they just got ahead tonight. I'm not doing that just to be no, like I really feel that. But I felt I saw better matches in NXT. It's weird how you can say this. This is the wonderful age we live in. Everyone's bitching and complaining about wrestling, and WWE doesn't give me what I want. You got 2 great shows from 2 separate companies tonight.
Yeah, you did, and it's been a wild ride, and I think it's been fun.
Mm-hmm. Jumping to this one here. Let's see this. Where Firefly Funhouse too much? Why was it killed?
No, wrong show, pal.
Wrong show, pal. Any wrestling promotion that comes to Philly, the ghost of the old ECW will be there. Yes, Taz was there. He was on commentary.
We'll see him on Tuesday for Dark.
I'm being told what matches are being taped right now for AEW Dark. I'm going to tell you what some of these are. Nyla Rose is victorious in her match. She's no
Tag your spoilers, Kev. Jeez.
My spoilers. Jeez.
Tag your spoilers, bud.
Spoilers.
Well,
sorry.
What you doing, bud? Like,
what you doing? It's okay. Sorry about that. I apologize. Did I ruin the experience for people?
I'm sure somebody probably complained. Oh, cool. So Zayn and tag with the Elite and Dustin and SCU and Shima.
That's pretty cool.
Or
enjoy that. Manuel texting and said AEW crowd
was
lit. I tried watching NXT, couldn't watch more than a minute. So boring. AEW was on fire the whole night.
God, I got something in my eye, Kevin.
What's in your eye? What's in your eye, dude?
I don't know. I think I got it.
Are you crying a tear?
I think I got it.
Yeah? Did you get something? Okay.
Yeah, I think I got it out of my eye.
That's fun.
All right. You know what, guys? Enjoy wrestling. I gotta go enjoy food. Guys, I haven't enjoyed
food. He has to go enjoy food. We have to get back at the grind of everything going on at the World of WrestleZone. Another great night of wrestling. Let us know what you think. Watching on demand. Put your comments in there. Don't moon me, Robert. Don't moon me. I'm
not mooning you.
You can follow Robert on Twitter at DeFelice. Follow me at Kev Kellam. Sound off. Tell us what you thought of this week's Wednesday Night War. Subscribe on all of your podcast apps of choice. Thanks so much for supporting the show. Remember to do the most important thing you can do when you watch wrestling. It is
enjoy wrestling.
That's right.